Quarterfinal Saturday concludes with a final battle, a fourth and final game here at the U.S. Cellular Center in Asheville, North Carolina. The sixth-seeded Western Carolina Catamounts looking to pull our upset in the nightcap as they take on the third-seeded Furman Paladins. Already today, the fifth-seeded Wofford Terriers have bumped off the fourth-seeded Mercer Bears as our other upset of the day. Ingles presenting our Socon Tny bracket, and on this second day of the men's tourney earlier this evening, ETSU pulled away from Chattanooga, so the Bucks await the winner of tonight's game, with UNCG and Wofford getting ready to battle on the other side of the bracket on semifinal Sunday. Welcome back in with Dean Keener, Pete Hannity with you. Western Carolina this year against Furman not only lost both games, they really were never in the contest in Greenville in Cullowhee. They're going to count on a junior college import who's come in and done a nice job for them to try to turn that tide this evening.
Mike Amius has made an immediate impact on this Catamount program. He was all Southern Conference second-team coaches, third-team media. You see the stats, they bear it out. The 12.5 points per game, but more importantly, he is a high percentage shooter. He needs to play well in the low post for the Catamounts this evening. For Furman, well, there's a lot of choices, but let's go with Devin Sibley. He's the returning player of the year a year ago as a junior. Didn't receive that honor this year, but he was still a first-teamer all Southern Conference, and he's been really good. And he's coming off the bench. It's interesting. He has been a real spark in that role. When you can bring a player of that talent off the bench, your team's pretty darn good.
In fact, in their final 6 games of the regular season, he started just once. That was on Senior Day. So he gets ready to face Larry Hunter and the Catamounts, and that takes us to our building blocks of the game. They're presented by General Shale.
Well, lots of keys on both sides, but when you really boil it down for Western Carolina, it's all about the offense. They're good when their offense is working. For Furman, keep sharing the basketball. They share the ball as well as anybody in this tournament. They have great balance and chemistry.
And more on this 73rd meeting between the Paladins and the Catamounts. We take you courtside. Here's the third member of our crew, Stormy Bonatoni. Stormy?
Thanks, Pete. Furman's 2018 senior class is the winningest group in the last 25 years, but boy, do they have a love-hate relationship with this tournament. Their freshman season, they came in as a 10 seed, won 3 games in 3 days, ended up playing Wofford in the championship game, lost by just 3 points in that game, and then by contrast, last year came in as the 2 seed and were bounced by Sanford in the quarterfinals. Devin Sibley talked to me yesterday and said it's absolutely annoying, but told me last year they felt a lot of pressure and played tight. He thinks this year, riding that momentum of a 6-game win streak, having those prior tournament experiences and thinking the pressure is on other teams will be a big benefit. He said, I don't feel any nervousness or anything, just kind of happy.
And there you go. Well, it's good to be happy, as the song says, but a year ago in that loss to Sanford, Sanford completely changed how they played Furman during the regular season when the Paladins won both games.
They certainly did.
Let's see what Western Carolina does in that regard. Matt Rafferty to jump against Mike Amius. Had a great day of basketball so far, and the Paladins get the ball first. They're going for their 51st win all time in the tourney, and a victory tonight would match the program best of 23. Last season, they were able to get that as well as 1980. Starting lineups in addition to Mike Amius. Evan Peterson, a senior, trying to extend his career. He's been an effective weapon outside for Larry Hunter and the Catamounts. As Jordan Lyons fires from downtown, and there's a rebound taken down by the top rebounder, Mark Gosselin. And you saw the Furman lineup, and their quarterback on the floor is John Davis. He currently defends out high.
John Davis III has been really solid. Now, playing behind Stephen Kroon for a year really helped him. This is his 92nd career start. He just simply does everything you want out of a point guard.
Gosselin kicking it. The firing is Darius Parks. Going to fall off no good. Parks missed a game a couple of weeks ago at Mercer with the heel injury, but he's been fine since, and he comes to this ball game off 19 points, and Western's win against the Citadel. Pretty feed, a lot of contact. Daniel Fowler still finishes, and it's the first bucket of the game, and you see why Matt Rafferty is one of the better assist men at the post on this team.
Matt Rafferty, we'll say his name a lot tonight. He does a little bit of everything for the Paladins.
Mike Amius reversing. Mike Amius from the Fort Lauderdale, Florida area, went to junior college in Nebraska, and now he's kind of split the difference as he lands in Cullowhee, North Carolina, his first of 2 seasons able to play there.
A lot of easy baskets thus far.
Williams kicks it on the right side to Hunter, quickly to Jeff Beans, and one. A chance at a 4-point play Mike Amius obviously would love to have that moment back.
Now watch it again. I mean, Beans, boy, you remember several years ago when he was a freshman and he was the talk of the tournament here. I mean, he was terrific.
And the Furman team that now looks to move ahead by 7, and they will. Pretty fine by Rafferty. What a great passer for a big man. And how about Alex Hunter showing you a reverse layup?
Again, they're going to get the ball back with at least 9 seconds to go. You know, optimistically, can you cut into it one more time? Big defensive possession right here for Furman.
Since falling behind by 21, the Catamounts have been as close as 14, trailing by 16 here. Fowler. Wonder if he'll just try to go to the hole on Gosselin. Instead to Brown. Now Fowler. And he nails it to beat the shot clock. 50-31. Still some time for Western Carolina. Parks, he'll fire a 3. Won't get it to go. We arrive at halftime in our quarterfinal ball game. And the Furman Paladins looking like they're going to steamroll back into the semifinals. Here's Stormy with head coach Bob Ritchie.
Coach, shooting upwards of 60% from the floor. The three-point shot is falling. How has your offense found a rhythm?
Ball movement, you know, they've been doing some switching that they hadn't done the last 2 games, but our guys are just keeping good spacing and committing to sharing the ball and moving it, and it's creating good looks. I think we're cutting really hard. I think the ball's moving, and those are creating the open shots in the paint and also on the perimeter.
Seems like defensively you've been making stop after stop. What's been working on that end?
Just playing hard. I mean, you just, at this point in the year, you just got to play hard. You got to know your assignment. You got to keep the ball in front. You got to make sure you play team defense.
Thanks,
we got to do it for 20 more minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, and I think Stormy will agree, Bob Ritchie, the fastest of today's coaches in terms of final buzzer to her microphone area at halves of our games during the quarterfinals. The Furman Paladins are 21-2 this season when leading at the break, and oh, how they lead here up by 19. With a winning mark, and Furman and Chattanooga, the only 2 active teams with at least 50 Socon Tny wins. Sibley off the timeout, good call by Bob Ritchie, and his senior who grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee, able to convert and put the Paladins back out in front by 18.
Then they've come back and won at Freedom Hall against ETSU, so.
Wow, look at that play by the youngster from Memphis, Desmond Johnson. A pretty nice little work there. I don't know how he found space to find room for the ball to push it off the glass.
There wasn't much space there at all, kind of a small crease, but maybe that's kind of the play that can get Western over the hump right here.
Here's Hunter with the freshman Halverson defending, 5 on the shot clock. Davis.
It's the second time tonight he has just made a play when nothing is there.
Johnson can't answer, so another opportunity to cut into a 15-point lead, and they're unable to do it that time. Davis has really been a steady player, but he stepped up his scoring this year for the Furman team, adding to all that he does so well. And, you know, down the stretch here, he's stepping up some special plays as he gets to the line. Amius now goes to work on Jeff Beans.
So right now, if you're Bob Ritchie, you just want to keep things clean. You don't want any issues. You don't want to force things.
And Shuck from downtown, Brady Shuck. Just as we saw one of the reserves for ETSU get some opportunity to score in the ball game that preceded this one. Another field goal in his college career, no, but it's followed up. Abubakar Mutombo, and that's nice. A senior also wrapping up his career, and that'll do it. And the Furman Paladins, in dominant fashion for a 3rd time this year against Western Carolina, defeat the Catamounts. Bob Ritchie and crew match the program high water mark with a 23rd win on the year, so they'll go for a Furman wins record on Sunday against the Bucks of ETSU in one of our semifinal games, and more importantly in the big picture for the Paladins, we'll try to march on for the first Socon Tny title at the school since 1980. Bunch of folks happy, many of them making the trip up US 25 and I-26 from the Greenville area to watch the Paladins. Who knows, maybe a few of the alums made their plans to come from elsewhere and enjoy the action this weekend for a Furman team that shall not be taken lightly by any they step on the court against. Jordan Lyons had a big game for them. As it turns out, scoring-wise, the Paladins got 15 out of Lyons. They were led by Fowler and Mike Amius and Thomas, the freshman, the highest scorers for Western Carolina. Thomas 17, Amius 16.
A dominating performance by the Paladins, 5 in double figures, just 8 turnovers for Bob Ritchie's group. He's got to be pleased. Disappointing for Larry Hunter. Hey, they'll live for another day. Right now, we're looking forward to an outstanding semifinal Sunday here at the U.S. Cellular Center.
97-73 is our final. Furman with the win. Join us beginning at noon Sunday for the women's title game, ETSU and Mercer. That's followed by our semifinal games. For Dean Keener and Stormy Bonatoni, Pete Kennedy saying so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN.